There is always very interesting discussions. So we received some money from the college, from University, Victoria University and Victoria College, to bring over Professor Dragos Georgiou from Bucharest University and Professor Peter Jackson from the University of Stockholm. They both have made interesting contributions in the topics we had selected for this symposium. I would first say that I apologize on behalf of Professor Jemen Markantin, who is the president of the circle, but she is currently coping with a knee surgery. Our Secretary General, Professor Chris Doran, is coping with the American administration because he's waiting for a green card in the United States where his wife has been appointed, and he cannot leave the United States until he has his green card. So he's very sorry, so he's cannot. I should say also a few words that tonight we will have a dinner at Little India, a little restaurant on Queen Street, and this will be is paid for by the French department, who has offered some support for this meeting. The happy few should not be concerned about the lack of a crowd, because the main point is to make the recording, and we have a very popular website called the Semiotics.com, which is visited by really thousands of people from all over the world, where they found free resources, open source. And so these discussions will be, these papers will be posted within, I suppose, 2 months or something like that on the website. And then it will be, if you put your email, you will receive also questions and contact. I should add that we had organized that in memoriam of Professor Masao Yamaguchi, who was a very prominent Japanese anthropologist and very colorful man, also a noted semiotician who had been for long vice president of the International Association for Semiotic Studies. He visited Toronto and the Toronto Semiotic Circle several times during his long career, and he was a very stimulating and energetic and I would say very un-Japanese scholar, and he was making it a point of breaking the Japanese taboos when he was appointed president of Sapporo University. The first move he did was to declare that any students, graduate or undergraduate, could visit him anytime in his office without an appointment. And of course the establishment, the academic establishment said, oh, what? Nothing like that. So that was the type of man, and he was a very good friend. We celebrated, the Toronto Semiotics celebrated in, I don't remember which year, but we can find that with the dates of his birth, his 60th birthday in Toronto. We had a special event for that. So he was close there, and we decided just to honor his memory by setting up that instance. So I think that I have covered the basic things. I must say that we are grateful to the University of Stockholm, who has allowed Professor Peter Jackson to come us without forcing our budget to go in the red. The French department, St. Michael College, who have all made a little contribution to make this event possible, because we have of course to have the expenses of the recording, we have also this sort of things, the hospitality, etc., etc. So now it is my pleasure to introduce Professor Dragos Georgiou, who is a leader in a very interesting domain, which is the understanding of how ancient population, and it is mostly Chalcolithic, Neolithic, Chalcolithic,
like Neolithic.
Neolithic, in contact with the material they use to create culture. And not only does he speculate about that, but he actually does it to see how it works and what were the consequences. And last night he was telling us during dinner that he had a shamanistic experience created by the making, the very making of ceramics, if I remember well.
Yes.
Yes. And
skills.
so that, this is a very precious information when you really say, okay, they were making. So he goes in a very place where you have archaeological records. He uses the same clay, the wood from the same place, etc., etc. So I don't want to give his paper in advance, but I know what he does, and it's incredible. So just
Thank you, Professor.
that.